In this video, I explain why you should not blame Rian Johnson for where Finn's character ended up. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I think it may be a universal opinion that Finn's best movie was The Force Awakens. We are introduced to his character in a beautiful way, and his character had a lot of potential. After The Last Jedi, a lot of people would agree that Finn's arc was the worst part of that movie. And then after The Rise of Skywalker, again, most people would probably agree that the movie didn't do justice to Finn's character. I am someone who definitely agrees with this, but I feel like Rian Johnson gets a lot of undeserved criticism. A common word that a lot of people seem to use when it comes to Finn's story in The Last Jedi was that he was sidelined. In The Force Awakens, he is no doubt the second most important character in the movie behind Rey. We saw him go toe-to-toe with Kylo Ren in a lightsaber fight before ultimately losing. The movie ends with our two main characters in Rey and Finn separated. In The Last Jedi, Rey and Finn do not exchange any dialogue. The closest we get to that is a hug from the two characters. And Rey's story clearly seems more important than Finn's, thus giving the impression that he was sidelined by Rian Johnson. I think this is a very unfair criticism, and here's why. For one, it was J.J. Abrams' decision to have Finn and Rey separated at the end of The Force Awakens. It was also J.J. Abrams' decision to end the movie in a way where the next movie would have to begin right after The Force Awakens. In The Force Awakens, there is one main story going on, and that is the journey of Rey and Finn. In The Last Jedi, since J.J. split up these characters, there would have to be at least two stories going on. Also, since Rey is the one with Luke, there was almost nothing that could be done to make Finn's story more important than Rey's, since Finn wasn't with Luke. Let's be real. The most interesting aspect of every Star Wars movie is the storyline that involves the Force. I guess Rian Johnson could have made Finn Force sensitive, but I'm not sure how well that would have worked. Also, while Rey's story is clearly the one that is more interesting, let's not act like Finn didn't have a whole half of the movie devoted to him. There are two main storylines in this movie. The first storyline is the dynamic between Rey, Kylo, and Luke, and the second storyline is the fight between the Resistance and the First Order. Rey is clearly the main character of her storyline, but Finn is also the main character of the other storyline. This whole half of the story exists in order for Finn to get a character arc. He began the story in a logical place given where he was in The Force Awakens. He doesn't care about the Resistance, he just wants to save his friend in Rey. So why would he care about the Resistance to begin The Last Jedi? This is why whenever people say The Last Jedi repeats Finn's arc from The Force Awakens, I get so confused. The whole movie, Finn learns about the importance of being involved in the fight. He ends the movie at a point where he is willing to sacrifice his life for the greater good, something he wouldn't have done in the beginning of the movie. Now granted, I don't think Finn's storyline in this movie was executed all that well, but it is clear that Rian Johnson made an attempt to make Finn a very important part of this story, and by no means sidelined him. Lastly, I want to compare The Last Jedi to The Rise of Skywalker because I think both stories handle Finn in a very completely different way. As I stated earlier, The Last Jedi devoted half of its story to giving Finn a character arc. Everything that happens in regards to the Resistance is to advance Finn's or Poe's character. I want you to ask yourself, what did The Rise of Skywalker do to advance Finn? If Finn wasn't in The Rise of Skywalker, what would change? Honestly, not that much. If Finn wasn't in the movie and it was just Rey, Poe, Chewie, 3PO, and BB-8, they still would have gone to Pasaana, they still would have gone to Kijimi, they still would have gone to the second Death Star, Rey still would have went to Ahch-To and then Exegol, Poe still would have gone back to the Resistance base and then Exegol. Finn's impact in this movie isn't felt until the end when he destroys the Star Destroyer, but at that point anyone else could have done that job. You could argue that Finn was able to determine that the tower setting the beacon was on the Star Destroyer, but that's his only major contribution to the movie. I don't want to make it seem like I'm hating on The Rise of Skywalker. It's a movie I still love very much. It's just, I feel like people need to stop blaming Rian Johnson for what happened to Finn in The Rise of Skywalker. Anyway, that is why you should not blame Rian Johnson for what happened to Finn. Thank you everyone so much for watching another one of my videos. If you want to see more videos where I talk about the sequel trilogy, here are two right here. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Don't forget to unite the Claude Squad, and I will see you guys next time.